Hi, it's Peter Zellum's Griniflix Adventure 8, and I'm preparing my Landcruiser here, ready for another journey. It's going to be so exciting. This is the baby. It's going on tour again. I'm here on the street in the middle of Sydney. I guess that's my workshop right now. I have to avoid the traffic here. Now, one of the things that I've been struggling with the Landcruiser over the last 5 years or so is having access to water. I've used jerry cans, all sorts of methods, and it's always been inconvenient. But as I was setting up the Hilux here with the, this is an additional vehicle to the main Landcruiser there. The one thing that I've got right on this is the plumbing, and that's this setup here. So you can just see here, and it's just a matter of just turning on, and you got instant water. And the setup I've got here is jerry cans. There's 4 jerry cans, plastic jerry cans here, so I can carry at least 80 litres of water. So I want to set up something similar for the Landcruiser, and I've got some ideas. I've just started the process, and let's see where I am right now, and then you can sort of follow me through the whole process. I do the plumbing, where I locate the jerry cans, and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so this is the setup right now that I have. Believe it or not, this is my doorstop lock. When I first bought the car 10 years ago, I noticed when the car is on a slope, this door can actually close. At the time I thought, yeah, I'll just put a block of wood there and there, and then that stops the door from closing accidentally, which it does. It works really well. And I've gone around Australia 3-4 times with that setup. So until I get a better setup, this is it. Now I've had the water container here. Normally you would have to sort of tilt that and pour into your drink container or whatever, or you lift it out and you put it on the table. So you're lifting 20 litres, 20 kilograms, 25 kilograms, depending on the size of the bottle there. And so, and even I've had the tap down the bottom here, but then depending on how rough the road is, sometimes the tap's broken off and I've lost all the water inside the car. So it all sorts of challenges carrying jerry cans and taps down the bottom and everything. So I wanted, the tap, so I want the same setup as the Hilux. I was looking in the back, you might be able to see that I've actually located the tap, and if you look closely, there it is. I've set up here right in the corner, so there's my drawers, which works well. So even if I have this drawer out, you can still have access to the tap, fill up your water bottle or whatever. There's a switch. Now it's not connected. All I've done is I've just put in the hose here. I don't have any electrical connections at this stage. And the plan is to have the jerry cans again up against the grate there, the cargo barrier, to 20 litre water containers. So then I've got lots of water here, and I'll probably relocate that fuel container there somewhere in the back. So that's the plan. So now I've got to do the plumbing and get somehow this hose connected to the jerry cans at the back. Let's start this process. This is the pump assembly that I'm using. Sing Floor professional marine pump set. So it comes with a tap mechanism, which I showed you already, and then a small pump as well. Now the pump flow is great, as I've already tried it out on the Hilux. Now the thing to note about this pump, it does actually flow only in one direction, and I've actually labelled the input and also the output. There is a small arrow here right there, so unless you notice the arrow, you wouldn't know which is the in or the output there, and obviously the wiring. I've already sort of worked out that we're going to put on a bracket, and then I'll set this up like that, so then it just sits in the cavity where my drawers are vertically like that, and then the flow rate will be coming across from the jerry cans, and then that goes on to the tap. Okay, done. Okay, so that's my cavity right now, so that's where the water pump's going to go. These poles might get relocated somewhere else. So there you go, you can see where the reinforced water pipe is right now. So this is food quality 10 millimeter reinforced plastic pipe. So that seemed to fit the pump quite well, this connection here. I had to put the hose in hot water for it to go over the top, and then just use a stainless steel hose clamp there. So the pump is going to go in here, pump there. So that's the plan. To access the jack, that's here. So I'm not, this is just going to be freestanding, so that's going to be flexible. The other pipe is this pipe here, so which is pretty flexible as well, and that's going to be okay, what I might do is I might just use this pipe on that connection, and then coming out of there, that comes out there, and then it will go somewhere over there, and then I'll start to use these more rigid pipes to go into the water tank. Probably a good opportunity to talk about these connections. Now, this is a Smartex pipe. I'm mixing connections here. This is, I don't know whether you can actually see it there, but it's actually called Philmac. It's an Australian invention, believe it or not. Alright, so the way it works is you basically just have that loose, and then you take this pipe. You can see that it's actually quite a rigid pressurized type pipe that can take quite a bit of water pressure. We don't have a lot of water, well, we don't have any water pressure here. It's more about suction. So that's what's good about these fittings, is because of the O-ring and the compressed O-ring, it's good for suction as well as for pressure. So it just slides in like that, and then you just tighten up, and that blue collar there grabs onto the pipe so the pipe doesn't move, and then the blue collar also presses down on the O-ring, then that seals, makes a good seal against the pipe here. And they come in straight connectors. The other good thing is that this reinforced tubing is just the right size, so that just goes in like that, and you do that up, and now you've actually joined two different pipes together, this plastic reinforced pipe and this really more rigid pipe, and you've got a really good seal. Incredible. It's the only connector that I found that can actually do that, because obviously you can't put those sort of things onto a pump because it's so rigid, it doesn't flex. Whereas this plastic here, you put in hot water, you can mold it to a size up, size down, or whatever. So that's what I'm doing there. And they come in all sorts of configurations, right angles, elbows. I couldn't get an elbow, they've all run out of stock. With all the restrictions on travel and cargo going around and manufacturing around the world, supply has actually been limited right now on these connectors. But no doubt that will come back into the marketplace, and it'll become more readily available in time. These connectors vary in price. An elbow, for example, is about $11 Australian. Australia's about $8. and when you combine these are about $60 or so. And by now when you go on eBay, because of limited supply, to get an elbow could cost you $45. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Now normally with these connectors, it has its own pipe as well, which is similar to this one, but it just has a blue line down the side of it. But it is actually the same diameter, 16mm diameter, which is great. There is an option to use a different connector, a brass connector, which is just a push fit in. They can be disconnected, however the system that they use here is a bit different. Once you actually push it in, the collar does grab it, and when you take it in and out, it does wreck your pipe. So yes, it's push in and becomes permanent, and if you do need to disconnect it, you can use a little collar to disengage and pull it out, but in doing so you will wreck the pipe, which means you can't reuse it. You have to cut it off so you got a nice clean pipe before you can actually put it back in there. As opposed with these, it doesn't damage the pipe in any way, so you can take in and out as much as you like. I hope that explains that well. Okay, so far so good. So we've got that connected there, that connected there, and then the pipe coming out over there. So now let's do the next connections. Alright, I reckon we're almost good to go. So you can see how I've made the connection between the reinforced plastic tubing there. Goes into there, 16mm goes into the connection there. And then I've got an elbow connection. And then I've got a straight and a connector here. And then this is the pipe that actually goes into one water tank. As you can see, everything is flexible, or it can be placed into the other water tank. Yeah, so the way you actually place it from one tank to the other tank, and that's the whole point of these connectors, that can just be disconnected, just like that. And then literally you just take the lid off, put in the pipe, put in your junction there, tighten it up, and voila, now you've got your water tank connected. Isn't that amazing? And that just sits there through gravity. Now on the Hilux I've got different water tanks, and I've made a different type of lid system where this pipe actually goes through the lid, which means, and you put a little O-ring there, which stops any splashing that happens when you're going on really rough roads and water might splash out if your lid is open like this, or the setup that I will have eventually with the two systems, tanks, identical tanks. And then you can just, when this tank is empty, you can then disconnect and move the pipe to the next tank, and without really adjusting much here at all. And the great thing about having separate water tanks and jerry cans means when you are filling up, you can basically just pull out the empty one and go and fill it up however it is. You can still carry it. If for some reason one tank gets contaminated, it's easy to clean out. If for some reason you get a leak in one tank, you don't lose the whole lot. And again, that's why I believe in having separate water tanks, plastic jerry cans for my water tanks, as opposed to some fitted unit in the car or in the camper. I reckon that's about it. So all I have to do now is connect the electricity, the power, and get my other jerry cans like I do have in the Hilux. And I reckon we're ready to rock and roll with this plumbing system. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it's been useful. And no doubt as I continue to prepare my troop carrier for this next trip, there'll be a couple more videos that will be coming out. So if you like, please do like. The thumbs up is really good to help with any YouTube creator like myself. So please do like. And if you haven't already subscribed, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe as well. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.